My dear friends, today we celebrate the feast of the conversion of Saint Paul. And as I said before, it is one of the very touching miracles in the history of the early church. When we hear this story or this conversion of this great saint, Saint Paul, we might be having that kind of image of Saint Paul, no? That he was a really bad person, that he was persecuting Christians. But if you go to see, Saint Paul, before becoming Paul, he was Saul, he was not a bad person, he was a devout Jew. And he had a very different idea, meaning what? He knew that God had entered into a deep relationship, deep covenant with the Jewish people. And that is he was he was thinking that that zeal was there for to work for God, and with that zeal he was waiting for the Messiah. But only thing he did not know was that Jesus was the true Messiah, which he had not encountered before. And that is why in that zeal he started persecuting the people of the way, the Christians, that time called the people of the way. He thought that they were the threat to this covenant which he was following. And that is why he starts persecuting. Persecuting means like he thought he is doing a good job. And that is the time when Jesus really enters into his life. He was given a great grace, and the grace is Jesus personally encountered. He encountered Jesus on the way to Damascus, and that would change his life forever. From Saul he becomes Paul. From a persecutor he becomes the greatest proclaimer of the faith, greatest proclaimer of the good news. He is one of the saints, one of the apostles who took Jesus out of to the other places, that is the Gentiles, we say, the apostle of the Gentiles, we say, no? So he was transformed. And today's this feast, great feast, the conversion of Saint Paul, teaches us the same thing. It teaches us that God has given us everything. God will look after everything. But it is only our free will, with our response to Him. How are we going to accept God? So first, we had a different clear picture of God. Saint Paul had a different picture. But when he comes to know Jesus, his full life is changed. And he accepts that. And that is what we need to see. Once it is changed, he was filled with that fire which made him give a light the whole world with the fire of Jesus' love. My dear friends, this feast which we are celebrating today also reminds each and every one of us. You also might have had our own conversion experiences. Maybe in our life we must have gone through some tragic experiences, and these are some moments which God puts us in our life, and which He makes us to come more and more closer to Him. But sometimes what happens? These tragic moments or something, we see it as something negative. We see it as something which we lose. We lose something. For example, you lose a loved one, and you start. Instead of seeing that, okay, maybe it's something God was trying to tell, we start blaming God. But today's feast, my dear friends, is calling us that God comes in this kind of ways. He only wants our response. When He comes in these ways, He is trying to tell us that, okay, we are maybe going in the wrong path, but there's another good path which you are supposed to follow. My dear friends, it also reminds us of our own vocation as Christians, our own vocation. Today's gospel also says, go into all the world and preach the good news. We are called. It also reminds us of our own calling, our mission, like Saint Paul. Once Saint Paul encountered Jesus, it was he also says in one of his letters, it is no longer I who lives, but Christ lives in me. And and really he took Christ to everyone. And we also are called to do that. Today's gospel, as I said, go into the whole world and preach the good news. That is the mission statement which Jesus gives us. And we can do this. It's not like, it's not telling us like to go abroad or go to other countries and proclaim the good news, but we can do this proclamation of the good news in our own lives by being of service to others, by being of service to our needy brethren, by being approachable to and loving towards our neighbor, by instead of fighting with others, by being more compassionate, more forgiving, and this by following the ways of the Lord. Let us, as we are reflecting on this beautiful feast and this reading on the conversion of Saint Paul, let us reflect on our lives also and see the moments when God has touched our lives. And let us see the moments where we have allowed God to enter in our life. If we have not done that, let us pray for the grace to allow Jesus to be the center of our lives and let Him mold our lives just as He molded the life of Saint Paul.